Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens, Riptide Media Networks. I am joined by one of the best in the business doing this movie reviews. If you don't like your movie reviews all stale and bland and watered down, if you want some real talk by somebody who really loves movies, who really loves pop culture, who really understands it, who lives it, there's nobody other than my boy Klep Napier of wearecritix.com. You can follow him everywhere at Klepcx. Anywhere you're trying to do your thing at. Yo, Klep, I appreciate you joining me, man.
Nah, thank you for having me, bro. You know, we family here, man. We family. So
Yeah,
anytime.
for people who don't know, we go way back. Way back now. Because we're old, right? Like that's what happens when you get old. You
Yeah,
end up
you get them
having
start getting
friends.
these, you start getting these, you know.
Yeah. I like it. I always call it. So my grades on the side, I call them my Reed Richards.
I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. And anytime I say it to a woman, I can tell whether or not we're gonna like click
Oh
if
yeah,
she
she don't get
knows
the
the
reference.
reference. If
Yeah,
she
she don't
don't
get
know
the
the
reference.
reference, it's not gonna work out. Like
She's either too young or not cool enough.
yeah, she's either too young or she is not in tune with the things that I'm in tune with. It's probably not gonna work out, right? Because like people who know me, they know that I love sports, but
hmm
they know I love movies. Like I'm a movie fiend. There's
Yep.
not a week that goes by that I don't see one or two brand new movies, right?
Facts.
At least. And
Facts.
so I was in AMC the other day, and
hmm
one of the AMC girls happened to see my rewards points.
Oh man.
And she was like, "Oh my gosh, like why don't you turn these in?" And I'm like, "What for?" Like I'm here all the time. Like I don't need that much popcorn in the world,
Do
right?
you do
So
you do you use A list?
yeah,
You have an A list, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I use A list. I have
Yeah.
that.
So it's like you're already getting so many things
Dude,
involved with it. Like what else do I need? Like,
I listen. If you have, and I want to just put this out there for anybody, even if you casually like movies, if you could pay for Netflix and you could pay for Hulu and you could pay for I don't know what else, what Amazon Prime or whatever, you should have AMC A list if you have it in your area. Because I mean, fair to say, it is one of the best, if not the best, memberships you could have with any theater. 20 something dollars, like $24 a month
yeah.
and you get 3 movies a week for free at any AMC location.
For any movie, right?
Any
Not
movie,
not
IMAX,
just yeah. And
not special
that's the
events.
thing with how expensive movies are. If you go to the movies 3 times in the month, you've
Yep.
paid like it's paid for your membership. So if
Yeah.
you're somebody who just like, hey, you know what? Once a week or once every couple weeks, I have a movie night, it's
Yep.
worth it to get this. Like,
Yep.
even if you have to buy the other ticket, you're still saving a ton of
Yeah.
money.
And then
And
sometimes they do that percentage off the second
yep,
ticket.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. The
Yeah.
percentage off, like, and this isn't an ad, ladies and
No.
gentlemen. I wish it was. Yo, AMC,
No.
holla at your boy. But this isn't an ad. But I like to shout out the stuff that I really do, and those reward points are a
Yeah.
little bit crazy. It's like Sky Miles.
I
I
hate
get,
that. I hate
yeah,
because I try to stay biased. I try to stay biased because I like all movie theaters, especially Showcase is one of
yeah.
my favorites. You know what I mean? So, but I can't even lie. I can't lie to y'all.
Nah,
AMC's it's special.
listen. There's a reason why they've been around for so long, right? It's not it's not some illusion of why AMC theaters have been around for so long. It's because
Yeah.
they've got it right. And when everyone started doing these subscription things, I want to say probably around like what was it, like 7-8 years ago, when people really started getting into the movie subscriptions, there were all of these smaller companies that had them. And when AMC's hit, it just it was different, because now
Dude.
you're talking about a national chain of movie theaters where you can use this anywhere you are. Like
Yep.
I was able to make it do what it does for sure. And then like for me, be getting notifications about early releases and the special viewings and things of that nature allowed me to go see a movie that you told me about a few days before. So for all of you who don't know, like Klep goes and sees these movies super early because he's plugged in and they invite him to go check it out, and so he can give his reviews and things. And so I wanted to say it was almost like midnight, and I get a phone call.
Yeah.
And my boy Klep says, "Hey yo, AK, you gotta see this movie. Like this is for us." He says, "This movie is for us." And I go, "What you talking about?" He's like, "Yo, challenges." I get giddy because I was like, "Yo, I'm looking forward to seeing that movie. Like, I'm looking forward to it." Any one of you who knows, y'all know Zendeya is one of my like ones, of the younger, bright future, A-list female lead actresses out there. I also happen to think she's gorgeous. Let's just get that out the way. But I really do think that she's one of the most talented people in Hollywood right now. And so I got excited about it, and I got more excited because it was a movie that allows me to blend, right, my love of sports and my love of sport and everything together. So, when he called me up, he said, "Hey, yo, you got to see it. This thing is phenomenal." I said, "Say less." And literally a day later, AMC popped up an early viewing. And so on Monday, I went to see the movie. And the movie, the movie comes out in theaters everywhere on April 26th, this Friday. I'm sure there'll be some early showings in places where you are. So wherever you're listening to this at, go and check your theater for early showings. Yeah, there might be some today. You want to watch this movie, because when I watched it, I immediately called them and went, "Oh, we got to talk about it.
Yeah,
we got to talk about it." So, without, all right. So there's no way I'm not giving up some spoilers. So I wanna preface that for all of you people here. We are here to talk about this movie. I don't believe any of the spoilers that we give up is going to spoil the movie for you, because there's nothing in this movie that's like a revelation or a reveal. Like, I believe if you're intelligent enough to understand, this is going to be evident to you from from essentially 15 minutes into the movie. Like, you're going to realize what this is.
I think the only possible thing that could be spoiled is perception. Because most people are going to go in this and see one thing or understand it a different way than someone else would understand it, or you know what I mean. So we could sway your thought process.
I'm gonna rely on you to pull me back and go, hey, leave it, let him.
I mean, you gave them fair warning, and I'm all for it. I mean, we got to talk, like, because it's bottled up, and I already did my review for the movie. I did a spoiler-free review, so if you want a spoiler-free review, you guys can go check that out on my YouTube, or we at Critix.com. Just look for reviews, and it's in there. I have a written and video, non-spoiler.
Yeah, absolutely.
But right now,
make sure you go and check that. Make sure you go and subscribe to that YouTube channel, Klepcx, on YouTube, for all of your reviews on all of the movies. He's also high on Boy Kills World, so you're gonna want to go and check that out too. But we ain't got no time for that. We got time for challenges today. Tell everybody a little bit about the movie, like what the premise of the movie is supposed to be.
Well, Challenges is about a former tennis player played by Zendeya. She marries a current tennis player whom she met when she was younger in college. He has a best friend who's also a tennis player. So they have this like friendship based on the game of tennis. Of course, in their younger age, they experiment with one another emotionally, physically. But overall, their relationship always revolved around the game of tennis. We flash back and forth a lot through this film, um, following their lives of where they were, where they are, and where they're going, and how their relationship has changed with one another around this game of tennis. And that's pretty much the only way I can explain it without giving any context.
So let's start there. The the flashbacks.
Mm,
Flashbacks are tricky in a movie
yeah,
because not many people do flashbacks well. There's a lot of haphazard flashbacks.
yeah,
I think back to the original Suicide Squad. The
okay,
flashbacks in the original Suicide Squad, I feel like they were sloppy. I
yeah,
feel like
because
they were,
sometimes it could just be cop outs and laziness, just the
yeah,
storytelling.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was like I felt like you could have built that into the current timeline. You didn't have to flash back to it.
Mm,
In this movie, I feel like the flashbacks were so like cleverly placed to where if you know about how tennis works,
mm-hmm.
if you know how tennis works, it was like a serve and volley or a rally. It was like
Yeah.
a rally in tennis where the ball went over here and then the ball went over here, and you had to hit the flashback in that right spot
Yep.
for the game to continue to play,
Yep.
right? And when I say game, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not just talking about the game on the court.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm
Eh,
not, and so I thought the flashbacks were really well done. What did you think about how they were able to incorporate the flashbacks throughout the movie? Because
I
we got flashbacks that were 10 years
eight
before, and then
years.
we got flashbacks that were like last night.
Yeah. Yeah. So I felt like, because like you said, flashbacks are tough, but after a while I was looking forward to them, like,
Yeah,
because I felt like that's where the meat of the story was. Like, yeah, you knew where they were now, and that stuff was like not even that important to me as far as how did they get here, because they don't really tell you how or why she ended up choosing the guy she marries. They never really tell you. They don't really show you that. They only, they showed a little bit of the downfall of what happened with the last friend, but they built that up. Like, they didn't really give you any of the how did these guys go separate ways until like the very third act, which was great. So they did a lot of the storytelling with the flashbacks, and I love that because, like you said, flashbacks can be useless, but in this case, they nailed the story. I don't know. That's some brilliant writing. Like, everything that you need to know is happening before.
yeah, and I think that the flashbacks, how the time periods
Mm,
that these flashbacks exist in allow us to look into each character and what their psyche was, how
hmm.
they thought about not only life but about the game and about game,
Yeah.
right? Like all three, like you got the look of what they like how these two men looked at this woman and how
Yep.
this woman perceived these two men.
Yeah.
And so like when you say they never really tell us how she ends up choosing him, I think
Hmm.
we know. Like we know the answer inherently in the way in which she operates,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you kind of go, oh, okay. Like there's a level of control that she was never going to have with one that she had in spades with the other.
How I looked at it, and again, this is a possible this spoiler. She chose the one who she knew would keep her around the game, because to her, tennis was everything. Tennis was bigger than relationships. Tennis was bigger than just everything in her. That's all she cared about. She would get into arguments with boyfriends because it was the only thing that she ever talked about, and would almost to a point get insulted if you thought anything else was more important. And I feel like when she chose, I always forget Mike Foss's character name, Art. Art. She chooses Art because he's the one that's more likely to keep her around the game, the one that's promising, more successful, who would probably keep it going and keep playing, while the other one was merely just playing for sport, just playing for fun. And I think that's the only explanation that I ever got from that. Like, why did she pick this one versus the other one?
Okay, so let's get nerdy, right? She the original choice
Mm-hmm.
of who I'm going to give my phone number to whoever wins,
Mm-hmm.
right? It comes because she wants to choose the best tennis player,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
there's no doubt who the best tennis player is, who has the best natural gifts in the game,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's the attraction for her,
Yep.
that he is the alpha when it comes to the tennis game, right?
You're getting deep already. I can
Yeah,
feel it brewing.
yeah. The problem is he's also the most unstable.
Yep.
And so when she's when there and there are times where, like, ladies and gentlemen, like, God bless Zendaya, right? There's some times where if you love, if you love what you love, then you're gonna love Zendaya. But you're not gonna like her. A lot of places in this
Oh
movie.
yeah. Yeah.
Like, her character has some very unlikable traits, but all three of the characters do. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what's so fun about it. So when she chooses the first of the two friends, she chooses him because she believes that he has the higher ceiling, right? What she quickly realizes, probably on the bed when she wants to talk about tennis
Yeah.
while they make out, and he just wants to talk about, like, how her in the relationship with his homeboy is, and she don't care nothing about that. She just wants to talk about this tennis. That's the turnoff where she goes, oh, he's not really serious about this game. Like,
Yep.
he's not really in this at the level that I thought he was in this. He's just in this for the game.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't in it for the, or he's in it for the sport. He's not in it for the game,
Yeah.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
so, like, when all the things transpire, and now she is in the parking lot with the friend, right? Fast forward a few years,
Mm-hmm.
the injury has happened. Her trajectory in tennis is no longer what it is.
Mm-hmm.
She's in the parking lot with the friend, and she's the first thing that, well, before, she's in the restaurant with the friend, and the first thing that she's talking about is how to make his serve faster. Not how have you been, not what's life like, not hey,
Yep.
it's how you can make your serve faster, but I'm sure your coach is telling you that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
You know, it's already a move to, this person takes the game more seriously than his friend did. And so now, as you said, I want to attach myself to that because that's going to keep me where I want to be, where I never want to leave.
Mm-hmm. It's
Right?
almost like like a double entendre. Like, it's like in relationships, and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna generalize, most people, not all women, not all men, but most people, usually it's always the attraction first.
Mm-hmm.
And then the physical is the good thing. Like that, he was a good performer. He was a
Mm-hmm.
good performer at the game, but sucked at all the other stuff. So for her to latch on to the first guy for his performance versus his longevity, and the one, what did they say, the one that got away is the one who she ends up with, because of his commitment to the game. So it's almost like her relationship was with the game, and she was looking for someone who had that special thing when it came to the game, not so much herself.
Yeah,
You
like,
get what? Yeah.
I think she would have been okay if they loved the game more than they loved her.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Like,
really do. I think so too.
like she would have been perfectly okay if either one of them would have said, "Hey, I love you, but I'm in love with tennis."
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm in love with this game. And she would have most likely said to them, "So am I." I
Yep.
100% understand because this is how I am. The
Yeah.
disappointment that the one friend didn't take the game seriously enough to reach its full potential, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then the disappointment that the other friend doesn't isn't committed enough to the game to ride it until the wheels fall off.
Yep.
Part of that
Yep.
comes because she never got the chance to take the game to the highest level. And now she's got to sit on TV. She got to sit and watch TV and see the girl that she used to smoke all the time winning Wimbledons and US Opens, right? Like there's a level of psyche that's got to play there where she was like, yo, this game that I love is bigger than anything else, bigger than my husband, bigger than my daughter, bigger than my
Mm-hmm.
mother, bigger than a relationship that I had. That's just what it is. And then there's the game that's being played. There's this game that's being played. So we talked about like the love for the game and how it permeates throughout the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how a lot of this is okay, it's your move now, right? It's the ball just got hit to you. What are you going to do with the ball?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the ball got hit to the first friend, the ball being Zendeya,
Yep.
right? He mishits it. He mishits it. It goes out of bounds. The
Yep.
ball gets hit to the friend. He squares it up, hits it perfectly. He wins the point. And so
Yep.
now he's got the prize.
Yeah.
He's got the prize. But you can see the prize slipping away from him. Because he's starting to be erratic with the serve. He isn't as committed. He got injured. He may not be long for the sport.
I wish we would have saw that too. Like we didn't get to see the injury, like the injury. What happened?
Yeah, I don't know if they wanted to show two tragic injuries. By the way, how they were able to show, they never tell you what happened to Zendeya, but I can tell you what happened to her because it happened to me twice. She ruptured her patella tendon.
Oh shit!
Like the way that the injury, the way they show the injury, you see how mangled the knee looks.
Oh
That's
man!
how the knee looks when you rupture the patella, because the patella tendon is what holds the kneecap in place, and the kneecap is what's holding the structure of the knee together. So
Wow.
the fact that they were able to show that and make it look as mangled as it looked, and the scar that she has down the front of her knee is the same scar that I have twice down my knee. Like I knew exactly when she did it, what she did, because I've done it twice, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, I think showing multiple like catastrophic injuries or what you think would be catastrophic would have taken the attention away from what the real goal was, which was to show the vulnerabilities of these three people in what they're doing. Like one of these guys, you don't have to be like this. You don't have to live in this world, right? So it's like you don't have to live like this. You don't have to live like this. You're choosing to live like this.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing. Like, and you don't, and you know what's cool is like you don't even know that until that scene. Like, because we don't really know really his background like that. I mean, he poked fun at it when they met her in the hotel, and he said that he was like, I think he was talking about his family. He came from money or something like that. But you don't ever really see that until that one scene when she's confronting him on it. I thought that was cool. There's a lot of subtle storytelling going on, even with that injury that Art goes through. Because remember when they're comparing injuries, and she's like, I didn't heal like you. I didn't heal fast like you did.
Yeah, I would have killed to have a recovery like you.
Yeah, recovery. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of subtle storytelling. Man, I just want to applaud the storytelling in this movie, man, because it
Absolutely.
just hits on all angles.
A couple of things that I wanted to mention. There's a lot of dirty macking going on in here, right? A lot of dirty macking by
Mm-hmm.
by one of the friends, right?
Yeah.
It's dirty macking by one of the friends, and it's rubbing it in the face by the other friend,
Yep.
which I think is really interesting when you think about friend dynamics, right?
Yeah.
She starts this off by saying, "I don't want to be a homewrecker." In other words, she's telling them, "Yo, I know I'm me.
I'm gonna be with both of y'all.
I'm about to be with both of y'all. Like this ain't like she went in and told them what was up from the beginning."
Yep.
And to their credit, they were both like essentially cool with it,
I
right?
know.
Initially, but you can see the envy, right? From
Oh.
from the sides, it was palpable. The
Mm-hmm.
first one is the initial friend who wins the game
Yep.
ends up getting the
Patrick, right?
number.
Patrick. I think it's
Yeah,
Patrick, right?
Patrick
Yeah.
ends
Yeah.
up getting the number, and he's able to, you know, do
Yeah.
what he gonna do. He's able
Yeah.
to score the winning points, right?
Yep.
So you can see the jealousy in
Art.
in Art as that happens.
Mm-hmm.
But and then Art immediately goes to dirty macking. And for all of you people who don't know what dirty macking is, that's when you tell the girl or the guy for ladies, that's when you tell them something and you shape it in a negative light to paint the other person negatively for the sole purpose of them looking at you because you don't possess those qualities that you talked about with the friend. It's a
Straight trying to
real
sabotage.
it's some sucker stuff. It's some real legit sucker stuff that's going on, right? It was corny that the friend had to let his homeboy know that he did the thing the way he did it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it was a lot of gloating. There was a lot of like ha ha ha
Mm-hmm.
in his bravado. Just the way he is like, of course I smashed, right? Like of course I did. But for the friend to then turn around and dirty Mac, but then as it goes along, and he essentially knows that periodically she has slipped out with this dude,
Oh yeah.
right? And yet the relationship is still the relationship, right? Because his win is having her,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
His win is having her.
And,
No, go ahead.
and that was the biggest issue with her, because it was like he couldn't play the game unless he knew he was unless she approved of him. Like he did everything. He played the game for her approval. He did everything for her approval, and even questioned her. That was like the crazy line when he was like, "If I don't win, will you leave me?" And
Well,
she
yeah, no,
just straight up,
she told him like he was like I remember he said, what will happen if I don't win? And she said, what do you want me to say? And then she was just like, hey, if you don't win, I'll leave you.
yeah, straight up,
Like straight up,
straight up.
straight face, no.
And you can't tell if she's, and this was the confusing part for me, because you want to see good in these people, you want to. So I'm like, does she know him that well that she knows what to say to push him to be better, or does she really not give a shit?
And the answer to both of those is yes. The answer to both of
Yes.
those, yes. Yes, she knows them both well enough that she knows what to say to pull the best game out of them.
Mm-hmm.
And she don't care. Like if you two dudes are not going anywhere, I got you. Like
Yeah.
forever. I'm her. Like
What she
even
say?
though
taking such good care of my white boys.
Yeah, yeah. Like if you think about the way in which she approaches it, she is essentially saying like, "Yo, it doesn't matter that I never became like Serena Williams.
Mm-hmm.
I'm her.
Yeah,
Like, even though I never ascended to like the fact that she's still wildly popular right now.
and she had endorsements, everything. She still
That's
had
what I'm
deals.
saying. Like the fact that she's still wildly popular right now. It's amazing to me that they don't see it. Like they don't, but
Yeah,
maybe they do, and that's why they can't shake her. Like that's why they can't get her out of their system, right? They can't allow themselves to see life forever without them. I think
yeah,
that both of them are comfortable with forever having whatever relationship they have with her. And she is 100% going to continue to bounce both of these dudes back and forth between each other for the rest of their lives.
yep.
I bet. And
Oh yeah.
and I bet that night they all spent the night together.
Oh right. Oh, after the win.
After whatever it was, we don't know.
uh,
We don't actually know who won.
I thought Art won. I thought he spiked it. I thought he spiked it,
No,
and
he
because he
jumped
went
up
over. Yeah, because he
and
went over.
almost went over the net, and he
Yeah,
got caught.
yeah,
So like, what happened? Like we don't know. We don't know what that point was. All we
yeah.
know is Zendaya was extremely excited about it.
Oh man, that was like the highlight of her entire moment.
Yes, yes. There are a couple pivotal like moments in this movie that I think are going to be like iconic.
Yeah.
The one that's the one that sticks out to me is the rally that has the entire crowd encapsulated,
Oh,
and
right.
she doesn't even blink. She's not
Yeah.
like the entire crowd. Their heads are just going left to right to left to right, and she is looking directly ahead, like straight
She's
down the
like
line.
sometimes playing with her nails, looking up.
Like this isn't it.
I need that
Like
as a meme. I need that GIF.
I know, right? I just need. I need. Well, I need to. Whenever I can get that. I'm going to create one,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm going to use for not being phased or not being moved, not being swayed by anything. It'll just be. She'll be
Whenever
my.
there's like whenever there's a beef or shade, I'm just gonna put
Yep.
that.
I'm just going to drop that GIF in there, and everybody will know what it is like I'm talking about. But it was just that's a pivotal moment. What was another moment in the movie that you say, hey, this is Zendaya flexing that she is going to be a problem in Hollywood for the next 20 years.
There was two. There was two. We talked about one of them about the iconic scene when um Art tells her that Patrick doesn't love her, and she says, "Who says it wants to be loved?" And then even after that, when they're together, married with a child, and he says, "I love you," and she says, "I know," and keeps it moving.
Very
I'm
very
like,
Han Solo-esque.
I- I'm like, what? I'm like, bro, leave.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Like,
I'm not built like these dudes. I just want to put
nah,
that out there. Like I'm not built
nah,
like these dudes. And I absolutely adore Zendaya. If she'd have pulled some stuff like that on me, I would
dog.
have been
It
gone.
was so dismissive that it was like borderline disrespectful. And I
Absolutely.
felt that moment, like when he said that, because they were just having like a fight or something, and he just he buckled down, and he put his pride aside, and he was like, "I love you," and she was like, "I know," and just walked into the
Just
other
kept
room.
moving.
Like,
No, that's really good. That's really good. There were I really appreciated how they were able to play young, right? To play young. They met like right before college, maybe a
hmm
summer before college or
yep,
a spring before college. And it goes up into, you know, their 30s. He's 31. I remember he's 31 at the point where they are at this challenger, and it makes me wonder, right? Because they allude to it, but they don't actually say it, right? Was this orchestrated by her the entire time? Like, did she orchestrate this game? Did
I think
she do all of this just to see them play at their best?
I
Like,
think she
because
did.
that's what matters to her.
Yep. She wanted to get him back in his game, and she knew that he would not allow himself to lose to his friend in front of her.
In front of her,
Ah,
especially as all of the revelations came out within the week, right?
mhm.
Leading
Oh
to
yeah, yeah.
what I
'Cause
think is the boss's move of all moves, right? And again, these are spoilers. Get them ready. When and help me out. What is his name? Is it
Which
Patrick?
one? Art Patrick?
Patrick. Yeah. When when Art wants to know if Patrick sealed the deal, right? He says, "Hey, just do what I do on my serve if you did. You don't have to tell me, but just do what I do if you did." And he
Yeah.
does it. And then on game point, he lets him know, "Hey, yo, I smashed your wife last night." Like, that's
That was phenomenal.
crazy.
That was foul.
That's crazy. That's wild. Like
Oh,
to
fuck off.
like, yeah, like in that moment to do that to somebody that you supposedly cared about, like at a high level, like that is one of the coldest moves. And then the response to just be, no, just take this point. No, I get, now I understand.
Yeah.
You were trying to give me this game, but nah, I don't want it like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when she got into it.
Yeah.
When she knew that the cat was out the bag. They know what just happened
Yep.
last night. They know what just
Yeah.
happened. And now that's where the magic for her happens. This has all
Mm-hmm.
been strategically like planned, and these strings have been pulled to a particular level the entire time just to get the best tennis game out of somebody. Like, that's
Yeah.
crazy to me.
She dude, she is so maniacal in this
It's
movie.
borderline
Yo.
sociopathic, right? It's borderline sociopathic.
Yeah. She's toxic, man. She's not good for that. I mean, they're just as toxic for one another, like as friends, but she was
No,
bad.
she's not good for them as people, but she's great for them. She's great for them
A coach.
as a coach, like in the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's the crazy part.
Yeah, nah, that yeah, overall this movie, man, it just the way that it just talks about relationships as a whole. There's just so much to take, so much to unpack, so much to I'm telling you, you can't just watch this movie and expect to come out of it the same. If you go into this movie and you only took one thing away from it, then maybe you need to watch it again because there's so many relatable moments for men and women. Um, in relation to just relationships as friends, relationships as partners, relationships as supporters, um, colleagues. Like it's just so much, so many layers of things that I saw. So many like scenes that I'm like, wow, I've been there. I get that. I understand that. I know someone, or I've heard, or there's just so much in that I just. I walked out of that movie changed. Like, wow, I just watched some good cinema, some good writing, some great acting. It's just so much. So Oscar nods, man. If this does not get Oscar nods, I will be so disappointed. So disappointed.
Hey, I can see best original screenplay,
Mm.
right? I can see a best actress, right?
Or
I can
yeah,
see, oh, I can see these things, like, um or supporting actors or whatever. I don't know how they're going to categorize it. You know what I'm saying? But
well, she's a star. There's no you don't
well,
call
she's a
Zendaya.
star, but
Yeah, you don't call her supporting actress in this movie at all.
hey, listen, she's the movie. She's
Yeah.
the movie in this thing, and I just love when I get really good sports movies. Right? The tennis looked real. The tennis didn't look fake or corny.
Sounded real.
Yeah, the sounds were real. The like the way in which they tried it a little bit with the trying to follow the ball, like got a little bit in for me. But outside of that, man, I really did enjoy this movie. It was an enjoyable movie that I will watch again many times. Right? And ladies and gentlemen, trust me, we didn't give you a whole lot. Like I stayed away from some really tantalizing spots. The first 20 minutes, you're going to see some stuff.
Yeah,
And
I
you're
was
gonna
just
be
thinking,
like,
I'm like, yo, we've been talking for 40 minutes, and I feel like we still left so much on the table for you to still go in and be shocked.
because I
But
want and the reason is because I want people to have that feeling about her that you and I had about her from the moment she touches like the screen. Like from the moment she hits the screen, the moment
you
she
feel it.
hits the screen, you're like,
Electricity.
oh snap. Like this ain't Euphoria.
Nah,
Like
this
I
ain't
love
this ain't
Euphoria.
MJ.
This ain't MJ. This
No.
ain't Euphoria. This something different.
Yeah,
And
she's born to lead, man. She's born
no,
to lead.
and she's such a. I said it. I've talked about it. She's got that Amy Adams. She's got that ability to just be a bunch of different things, and I love to see it. Like one of my biggest criticisms, and it's not a criticism, but I guess it's my own issue. Like Viola Davis is one of the best in the business, right?
Yeah.
But she's Viola Davis,
Yeah.
right? She's kind of Viola Davis in every movie.
Yeah. Now at
Right?
this point, we've seen her so much that
like but her ability to transform with the character, right, isn't where I feel like it could be.
I will give you this though. She did amazingly in Hunger Games.
Oh yeah, okay. You know what? Let me not take anything away from her.
But
She was
that's one.
fantastic in Songbirds and
That's
Snakes.
one. That's a one-off. I would
Yeah,
like to
like
see her. I would like to see her go villain more, or maybe even more obscure. But that one there, because she saved that movie for me. I felt like she was the MVP in that entire movie.
But with that being said, right? Compare that to her in her breakout performance in How to Get Away with Murder.
Yeah,
It's
we've been
that
getting
same
Annalise and everything.
level, that same level of sinister.
Amanda Waller is Annalise Keating.
Exactly. So that's all I'm saying. But with Zendaya, it's like she can be the homely looking girl. She could be the girl next door. She could be the bombshell. Like she can be the. I'm waiting to see her in an action movie. I want to see what it's going to be like for her in an action movie.
You know what's funny is I don't know if I want to see her in an action movie. I think I want to see her play a little more. I'm very curious to see what she does next after this, because she's done the drama television. She's done the big blockbuster with Spider-Man, and now she's hitting us with, what do you even call this? Psychological romance thriller? Like
this isn't a romantic comedy. Ain't nothing funny about
I don't know what to call this. It's
I don't know what category you would put. I mean, obviously you put it in the drama, but
is that what IMDb is calling it? Drama?
Well, that's what I'm calling it. IMDb can go whatever. Like IMDb on some other stuff sometimes.
That's so bland because it's so much more than a drama. I feel like it's psychological drama. I feel like it's very psychological. Like you're not going, like I said, you're not just you gotta keep your senses open when you watch this film to really fully take it in. Don't go into this movie closed-minded because there's so much to take from it in a great way. Like I really just feel like you can learn a lot about yourself just watching this movie
and how you deal with others. I think that's the biggest thing for me is how you deal with others. Like like Klep, you and I,
Mhm.
and many other dudes, we ran in a circle of dudes that had to navigate these types of problems, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yep.
yo, we both see this woman. She's
Mhm.
gorgeous. She's got some things that all of us are attracted to,
Yep.
right?
And
And
we all got
but maybe,
ego. We all got
and
egos.
maybe for different reasons, and we all have egos. And
Mhm.
it's like, but in our world, it was like, yo, if you're trying to do it, cool, I'm gonna step back,
Mhm.
right? I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna let it play out the way it play out. But it doesn't always play out that way,
No.
right?
No.
And it's understanding and realizing the, oh, she's really more into you. So now
Yep.
I'm going to step back and present you in a way that doesn't like screw up the situation for you,
Mhm.
right? And doesn't make her feel some type of way. Like that was my role, I get that. That was my role. Like, hey, I'm trying to make these connections, right?
Yeah.
So, like, just thinking about how we deal and I found myself at every turn of this movie going, I would not have handled that way, right?
Yeah.
This is not the way that would have gone.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
the early pre-college hotel room scene would not have
Oh,
gone that way if me and any of my homeboys was in that hotel room with her. It would not have gone that way.
yeah. That would have been like, yo, you got to choose.
It would have been either you got to choose or we about to flip you. One of the two.
Yeah.
Like, but it would have never been on some, hey, let's all be in. You got to see it. That's what I'm
She,
leaving it at.
oh yeah,
I'm
she played. Yeah.
listen, ladies and gentlemen, you
Yeah.
got to go out and watch Challengers in theaters April 26th. You got to make sure that you follow my guy Klep Napier. Tell them everywhere that they can find you at, Klep.
Again, like Klepcx everywhere. I'm on every social media platform with Klepcx. That's KLEPCX. Or check out movie reviews, television news, pop culture stuff at wearecritics.com. That's my website. Yeah, man. And catch me at the next Comic-Con. I'm at every Comic-Con, big or small. So I'll be there.
Absolutely. And again, a rising. It's funny to call us rising stars in businesses that we've been doing for so long, but I really do
Yeah.
believe like we are in a situation now over these last few years where people are recognizing the work that we've done for
Hmm.
years upon years. I'm definitely proud of you and
Thank
everything
you.
that you've done and everything you
Thank you.
continue to do. You got a beautiful studio over there. I can't
Thank you.
wait to see all of the future content you guys are going to have coming out of there.
Yeah.
And really, really looking forward to seeing what happens next. The next sports movie, you're right back here. We're breaking it down. I don't want to have to kick the back end of a sports movie, but I'll talk bad about a sports movie in a minute if it's awful. So
We don't even have anything coming yet that's based on sports.
yeah, I
I don't
have, but
think.
but in truth, Challengers kind of came out of nowhere for me too. Like
And I'm
I
gonna be real,
hadn't
because
heard a lot about it, in outside of maybe the last like 2 months.
and I'm, you know me, like sports is your thing. Like I never really cared for the sports like that. I don't feel like this is a sports movie, even though it's about sports. The character development and the storytelling is what drove me through this whole film. I'm not sitting there like, oh, they're playing tennis, blah blah blah. Like I'm paying attention to the correlation between relationship and tennis. Like it's
Absolutely.
just so brilliantly done that
And
it
that's what
doesn't
makes a
feel like a
great sports movie.
sports movie to me. It doesn't. It doesn't.
That's
Now
what, but
imagine if they could do that.
that's what makes
They
the
did.
sports movie better.
Well, I'll give you an example. They did that with Love and Basketball. They
Yeah.
did the same thing here with Love and Basketball, but
Oh,
just
but
not
ladies and
so
gentlemen, this
intense.
is not Love and Basketball.
It's not Love and Basketball is not as intense, but
Yes.
they managed to blend that thing.
There's no
Yeah.
Love and Basketball happy ending. If you're looking for the Love and Basketball happy ending in this, you're going to be
This
really
is more like
disappointed.
Love and Basketball meets Cruel Intentions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is a great way of putting it.